"I'll pay you double if you have a balance." The manager laughed, not knowing he was talking to the CEO. "Hey everyone, ever had one of those days where the world just judges you before you've even opened your mouth? Where your worth is measured by the thread count of your shirt or the shine on your shoes? Today's story isn't just about a misunderstanding. It's about the crushing weight of assumptions, the quiet dignity of humility, and the moment a single careless phrase shattered a man's world, only to rebuild it stronger than ever. This is the story of David Chen, and the manager who laughed at the man who owned the bank, a bustling downtown branch of First Metropolitan Bank. Polished marble floors, hushed tones, the soft clack of keyboards. David Chen, the bank's notoriously private CEO, had just wrapped up a grueling 18-hour negotiation. Exhausted, his mind still racing with merger details, he'd grabbed the first cleanish clothes from his office closet, worn khakis with a faint coffee stain, a faded blue button-down missing a button, sleeves rolled unevenly. He looked tired, human, maybe even a little down on his luck. He needed to deposit a personal check, a simple, mundane task. He walked in, head down, shoulders slumped with fatigue. He approached the first available teller, but before he could speak, a sharp voice cut through the quiet. "Sir, this line is for customers with accounts. If you're just loitering, I'll have to ask you to leave. We maintain standards here." David looked up, surprised. He recognized the manager, Mark Henderson, known for his obsession with appearances and his dismissive attitude towards anyone who didn't fit his narrow definition of valued client. David, ever the observer, decided to play along, maybe see the system from the other side. I need to make a deposit, sir." "A deposit? With that?" He gestured dismissively at David's worn clothes, his eyes raking over him with open disdain. "Look, pal, I don't have time for games. If you actually had a balance worth mentioning in this bank, you wouldn't be dressed like you just crawled out of a dumpster. Tell you what," he leaned in, a cruel smirk playing on his lips, his voice dripping with false generosity. "I'll pay you double if you can prove you have a balance." The laugh, oh, that laugh. It wasn't just rude, it was dehumanizing. It carried the weight of 1,000 assumptions. You're poor, you're insignificant, you don't belong here. David felt a familiar heat rise in his chest. Not anger, not yet, but a profound, aching sadness. He'd built this institution on principles of trust and service, and here was one of his own managers spitting on those very ideals, judging a soul by its packaging. David didn't flinch. He met Mark's smug gaze steadily. The exhaustion was still there, but beneath it, a quiet steel emerged. He reached slowly into his worn jacket pocket, not for a wallet, but for a simple, unassuming keycard, the kind only top executives carry. He placed it silently on the counter, David's voice still calm, but now with an undercurrent of undeniable authority. "Mark Henderson, my office." Now, the sharp clack of the keycard hitting the marble counter, a sudden deafening silence in the bank. Mark's smirk vanished, his face drained of color. He stared at the keycard, the specific design, the discreet logo only insiders knew. His eyes flickered from the card to David's face, truly seeing him for the first time. Recognition dawned, cold and terrifying. The CEO, the David Chen, in his branch, dressed like that, and he'd just offered to pay him double if he had a balance. The sheer catastrophic absurdity of it hit him like a physical blow. Mark stammered, "Mr. Chen, sir, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Your clothes, I assumed." "You assumed? That's the problem, Mark. You assumed my worth based on fabric and thread. You assumed I wasn't worthy of basic respect because I didn't look like your caricature of success. You offered to pay me double, as if my dignity had a price tag you could haggle over." David's voice dropped, low and intense. "Do you have any idea what that laugh sounded like? It sounded like the death of everything this bank is supposed to stand for." David didn't fire him on the spot. That would have been easy. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He made Mark sit with the shame. He made him feel the weight of his own prejudice. And then David did something unexpected. He turned to the stunned teller David had initially approached, a young woman named Anya, who'd watched the whole scene with wide, horrified eyes. David smiled at her, a genuine warm smile that reached his tired eyes. "David, Anya, please process my deposit. And could you also pull up Mr. Henderson's personnel file? I think we have some serious retraining to discuss, starting with empathy." The fallout? Mark Henderson underwent intensive sensitivity and customer service training. He was temporarily demoted, forced to work the front lines, serving every customer with the respect David demanded. It changed him. But the bigger change, David Chen implemented a bank-wide initiative, the Unseen Customer, mandatory training on unconscious bias, a strict zero-tolerance policy for judgmental behavior, and a new rule: every employee, from janitor to VP, wears the same simple, comfortable uniform 1 day a week. To remind them, worth isn't worn on the outside. David Chen could have fired Mark. He could have hidden away in his pristine office, safe in his tailored suits, but he chose vulnerability. He chose to walk in the shoes, or the worn trousers, of those his bank sometimes failed, and in that moment of humiliation, sparked by a careless laugh and a cruel offer, he didn't just correct a manager, he reignited the soul of his entire institution. So the next time you're tempted to judge someone by their clothes, their car, their accent, remember David Chen and his stained shirt. Remember the crushing weight of that laugh. And remember his quiet, powerful response. True worth isn't in your balance sheet. It's in how you treat the person standing right in front of you, especially when you think no one important is watching. Because sometimes, the most important person in the room is the one who looks like they don't belong. Don't let your assumptions be the thing that costs you everything. What do you think? Have you ever been misjudged? Or maybe misjudged someone else? Share your story below. And if this resonated, hit like, subscribe, and remember to look beyond the surface. See you next time. Thanks for watching.